Yes, so I think we had just started attitude, right? One option is that having class from 10:30 to 12:30 on 30th. So shall we take it? 10:30 to 10:30. Can we have that class? I think I will put that on Telegram poll, and whosoever whichever sides win, we will decide accordingly. Okay, tonight only. Yes. So those who want class, they can have the class, and then if you are in majority, then we will.
टेलीग्राम पे तो 180 स्टूडेंट्स हैं, यहाँ पे तो जाते ही
हाँ तो वो उनका भी तो देख लेंगे. अच्छा, ऑफलाइन वालों का पोल इम्पोर्टेंट है. अच्छा. Okay, then let's have the class. Okay, so at 10:30 we'll have the class. The room number will be different, I will tell you. Okay, then we will have the class on 30th, 10:30 to 12:30. So, have you revised whatever we discussed? Okay, any doubt from that? Any doubt? No doubt? Okay, so I think while comparing values and morals, which one will be more flexible? Which one will be rigid, as both of them are rigid in comparison with ethics? See, values and morals, I think we have already discussed. Values not always have the element of morality. Okay, they may be amoral values also. I will discuss the attitude again. थोड़ा सा ऊपर देखिए, डाउट पूछ रहे हैं. Any other doubt? I will again, intellectual competency and moral quality means how we say about it, sir. I'm not getting your question. Intellectual competency is different than moral qualities. You talk about a poor person, poor illiterate person, that he or she may not be, intellectual in the way, with respect to his knowledge, with respect to rational analysis, but he or she may be a very honest person. Okay, so that is how. And on the other hand, we also have the examples where someone is very much intellectually capable, but they are the persons with immoral values. So basically, they are misusing the theme of knowledge without character. So both these things are different. I think we have discussed that. Have you understood, Khushi, now? Which one is more flexible in moral? It depends, na? Societal moral values are ethical standards only. Collective moral values of society, what society prefers, are ethical standards only. So there is not much difference actually that is there. When something values are a preference, when something is preferred at collective level. I think we discussed about constitutional morality. So constitutional morality is nothing but ethical standard of constitution or the moral standard of constitution. Usually we don't distinguish between morality and ethics, as I already told you, that unless and until it is asked very specifically that differentiate between ethics and moral, we will not be differentiating. So constitutional morality and constitutional ethics are almost same thing only, and they are rooted in constitutional values. Understood? Okay, so I think we had started our discussion on attitude, another very important topic, and this topic comes from psychology, and lot of literature is available on that. Yes, but we should be mindful of the type of questions that are asked when we are dealing with this particular topic. So the type of the questions are that how attitudes are formed. If you look at the directive that is there in your syllabus, it says that what is your aptitude and attitude in dealing with the conflict with the society. So basically, whatever is happening around you in the society and how that is shaping your attitude is important to you. Basically, why certain people are having negative attitude, why you are having the attitude of prejudice, superstitions. So that thing is very, very important when it comes to this topic, and more importantly, how we can change that. So this aspect of changing of attitude and how we are, learning the negative attitude, these two themes are most important theme from this perspective, from the your UPSC examination. The aspect of changing of attitude will be used in your case study most likely, because you might be asked that what will you do as let's say IAS officer, IPS officer, to change this attitude or to change the attitude with respect to women, in the district that you are posted. So there we can employ different strategy in terms of changing the attitude of that area. Understood or not? So that is changing of attitude. That is very, very important theme, important from the perspective of case studies, and how various negative attitudes are shaped, how prejudices are formed, how hatred is formed. So that is another important theme. So basically how attitude is formed is another important theme. So these two themes are very much important. Most likely, this is what the UPSC will ask. Another important theme is moral and political attitude. So this question is actually subset of attitude only, but I think till now UPSC has not directly asked too much on political attitude. So that theme is also very much important. Understood? So this is what we will discuss in this topic, because that is what is more important. Now attitude that we have discussed was basically your predisposition to act in a certain fashion. It is your tendency to behave in a certain fashion. You may or you may not behave as per your attitude. That is something that you need to understand. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? Then this attitude, we also discussed, it can change over a period of time. Yes. So basically, if we talk about, before we discuss belief we have already discussed. Yes, beliefs are the convictions that we hold to be true, that we believe there is God, that we believe from the perspective of tribals that our ancestors are living in this particular hill or forest that we call as sacred groups. So basically all these are beliefs only. All these are their cognitive pattern, what their cognitions are, what these people are thinking. Understood or not? So that is what is important. So beliefs are the assumptions or the cognitions one hold to be true. They may or may not be true. That is what you need to understand. That is what belief is. Value is the preference actually that we attach to anything. Values are typically broader. On the other hand, when we talk about attitude are basically more specific. As we discussed, the attitude is a relational term. So attitude will always be with respect to something. So values you may or may not have with respect to something. Values like it can exist independently. Honesty is the best policy. So basically you are preferring honesty. It is not necessarily that you have to be honest with respect to your family or you have to be honest with respect to your profession. In general, you prefer being honest. So values are much more general. On the other hand, attitudes are much more specific. Your values or your preference guides the development of your attitude. Basically, attitudes are a specific application only. Understood? So let us first discuss what are the different components of attitude, then we will come to this table again. Okay, so attitude basically is formed of three important components. One is cognitive component, another is affective component, and the third part is behavioral component. So basically when we are talking about attitude, it has three important components. That is called CAB model or ABC model, in the psychological terms. So this cognitive component is nothing but your belief pattern or your cognition with respect to any attitude. So you may believe that that snakes are dangerous. That is your assumption, that is your belief pattern. So as soon as you see the snake, you may feel like that I should run away from the snake. Yes. So basically cognitions are your assumptions, cognitions are your belief pattern with respect to anything. For example, I give you a medicine, that you may believe the doctor is giving you a medicine, but you may believe that cognitively your assumption is that medicine will help you. So that is at the level of cognition that is there. Understood or not? So cognition is basically your assumption of belief pattern about anything, and it goes into formation of pattern behind that attitude. We talk about patriarchy. What do these patriarchs people believe? The cognition part is that they believe that perhaps women are not as equal as men, or perhaps it is the birthright of men to rule over women. So that is the cognition part, based on which they will decide the other two parts, that is affective component and behavioral component. Okay, so let us discuss that also, and then I will discuss the interlinkages between these two. The second important component is affective component. So as soon as you look at the attitudinal object, what are your emotion? How you are evoking your emotion. For example, this particular boy, he's looking at this apple and he's expressing the joy. So basically that is the affective component. That is the affective component of the attitude. Basically, he may believe cognitively that apple a day keeps the doctor away. So basically, apple is having therapeutic benefit. Understood or not? So that is cognitive aspect of the attitude. But at the same time, he likes apple. The aspect that he likes apple, that he enjoys eating apple. So that is affective component of attitude. Are you understanding this part? You talk about medicine. A medicine, cognitively you may believe that if you take that, it will help you in terms of getting better. You will feel better. Understood? So that is cognitive. But when you have the medicine, it may taste very bitter it may taste very bitter. So basically you may not like that taste. So affectively it is actually very bad. Emotionally you are not liking it. Affective component is not really great with respect to medicine, but cognitively it is there that yes, that is what you need to do. Are you able to understand the difference between cognitive component and affective component? Understood or not? Understood or not? We talk about environmental conservation attitude. The cognition aspect may be that we have to conserve our environment in order to protect ourselves. Otherwise, there will be global warming, climate change. So that is what your belief pattern, cognition, that if you don't preserve your environment, if you don't preserve forests, then perhaps you will be facing wrath of the nature. Understood or not? That is cognitive part. Affective component may be that you may just feel very happy when you see greenery around you. Affective component may be when you see the ecosystem, when you see the wildlife, it just makes you happy. Now do you understand the difference between being happy and cognitively thinking that yes, it is good for all of us? They are two different things and they may align with each other. For example, in this case, something that you are liking, emotionally you are feeling very good about it, the greenery and afforestation. Similarly, at the same time, at the cognitive level, you are also liking the fact, you are also believing in the fact that greenery is very much important for our own survival. Understood or not? So these two are cognitive, and attitude will always have another important component, that is behavioral component. For example, in the case of afforestation, you may have the tendency to plant trees. Understood or not? Understood or not? So basically that is a behavioral tendency. So cognitive aspect is that environment conservation is important because otherwise you will be facing climate change. So that is something that you have gathered from the internet, from the science and everything. So that is at cognitive level. That is a belief pattern. Affective component is that if you plant trees, you will feel good about it. Yes, that is your affective component. And behavioral aspect of that attitude can be that you are indulging in tree plantation. Understood on all the conservation of wildlife. What exactly you are behaving as per your attitude. Understood or not? So that is how there are three important components of an attitude. Remember, these three important components of attitude may align with each other or may not align with each other. You talk about medicine. Cognitively, you believe that it will help you. Okay, so I think I was talking about attitude and I said that attitude has three important components. One is cognitive aspect of attitude, that is about our belief pattern, what we think cognitively, what are our assumptions, what are our belief pattern that may or may not be true. Remember, that may or may not be true. Yes, so that is basically cognitive component of attitude. Affective component is basically your feeling, affective, your emotional aspect of attitude. Sometimes we feel very emotional whenever we hear patriotic song or something like that. So basically affective component of attitude. And third important part is behavioral component of attitude, that is how exactly we will behave. So I think I was talking about this particular example that this boy is looking at the apple and he's feeling very happy about it. So basically that is affective component of attitude, that he's feeling very happy about it. Now behind this happiness is basically independent of cognitive aspect. So he may believe that eating an apple a day may keep the doctor away. So basically that is a cognitive component. The assumption is that if I eat apple on a daily basis, then it will help me. Understood? So that is belief pattern, that is cognitive part, but emotionally he is feeling really great about it. Understood or not? Similarly, behavioral component is basically what is our tendency to behave. For example, we talk about all these thieves, all these robbers. As soon as they see the police, they tend to run away from the police. So basically, that is their behavioral tendency. We talk about pessimist people. The people who have very much negative attitude in their life. So whenever they are presented with the problem, they also tend to run away. They also tend to resign from those problems. So basically, that is their behavioral tendency. Understood or not? So I was talking about this example of environmental conservation. Now, cognitively, because of you are reading Science and The Hindu and every newspaper, you believe that global warming and climate change are such an important issue. And to prevent that, you need to afforest. You need a lot of afforestation. You need to plant a lot of trees. So basically, that is a cognitive component of attitude. Now, when you see greenery all around you, all that natural scenic beauty all around you, all the animals in the real wildlife habitat habitat all around you, then you feel really great about it. So that is your affective component of attitude, that how emotionally you are feeling with respect to that attitude. Understood? And third important part is behavioral. So you talk about environmental conservation. So the behavioral component may involve that you are planting the tree yourself, or you are taking initiative in the context of animal welfare or something like that. So basically behavioral pattern is your actual behavioral tendency, that how you will behave. And attitude is actually formed by all these three components. All these three components may or may not align with each other. So I was giving the example of the medicine. At cognitive level, you may believe, since the doctor has prescribed that medicine to you, it will benefit you. Yes, so that is at cognitive level. Assumption is that the medicine will help you, but you may not like the taste of it, since it is very bitter. So effectively, you feel bad about it. So whenever you drink that syrup, or whenever you have that medicine, your taste buds, they are like, what I'm having. So basically, effectively, you may not like that, but behaviorally, you may be taking the drug because, you fear for your life. So basically, cognitive, affective, and behavioral component may or may not align with each other. You talk about yourself. All of you cognitively believe that you have to work hard. Yes, but if you have to work hard, then you have to get up early also. That you don't like. So affective component of that attitude is basically not so great about. Yes. So basically, effectively, you are not liking the fact that you should get up early, or that you should be punctual, you should not waste your time. But cognitively, you believe and you know that if you keep on wasting your time, then you will not be getting through the examination. So that is cognitive and affective component that is right at the display there. And behavioral component is how exactly you are behaving. You talk about smoking. Yes, you talk about smoking. So what is my attitude towards my smoking? So my attitude towards my smoking will, of course, be shaped by these three factors only, that whether I truly believe that a smoking causes cancer or not, that is a cognition or affective component. That is cognition level. Yes, that is what is my assumption. So maybe I believe that yes, smoking causes cancer. Maybe tobacco causes cancer. Then affective component is, but I like it. Yes, because when I have that cigarette, I like the kick of it. So basically, affective component is that I like, taking cigarettes because I like it. So that is affective component, and that is actually driving my behavioral component, that I am smoking only. On the other hand, there may be some people who believe that cognitively smoking causes cancer, and they have seen all these bigger images on the cigarette packets. All that. Mukesh and everyone, in the movie theater, he's there. So now they believe that, that it is actually very bad. If you have smoke, if you have, cigarette and everything, that they do not like it actually. Okay? They do not like it. They do not like the smoke and everything. So basically, affective component is also negative, cognitive component is also negative, and behavioral is also negative. So they may not indulging in smoking. Understood or not? So basically, your attitude is shaped by all these three factors. Understood or not? Understood or not? And all these three components may or may not align with each other. That is what you need to understand. Yes, and at times one of the component may dominate, in one of the attitude. That also can happen. You talk about racial prejudice. Now, racial prejudice is an attitude, yes or no? Racial prejudice is an attitude, yes. So behind are inferior than us. That may be the cognitive assumption that blacks are inferior than white because they have lesser cognitive capacity, for example, or lesser IQ, because that is what they used to believe. They used to believe in that the blacks have lesser IQ than us. So that is a cognitive level. Affective component is a component of hatred, that they hate black people. As soon as they see black people, they hate them. And behavioral component, basically, in all walks of their life, they will be discriminating against black people. So that is what racialism is all about. You talk about caste discrimination. The fundamental belief may be that you may actually believe in purity and pollution principle. That yes, there are certain things that are pure and there are certain things that are polluting activities, and the people from lower caste, they are destined to do those polluting activities, and that is why they should be kept untouchables. So that is your cognitive component. When you believe in something, your belief pattern, that is your cognitive component. Understood or not? And affective component is that naturally you don't want to touch that person. So you may have that sense of, alienation from that person or hatred also. And behaviorally, it will be reflected in all walks of the life that you are discriminating against that person. Understood or not? So I just discussed various type of attitude with you, and I've also discussed that how there can be different cognitive pattern, affective aspect, and behavioral aspect of that particular thing. Understood or not? And
wanting to touch that person's behavior.
yeah, basically, you don't feel like, affective component is feel. Some people are like, मुझे नहीं छूना है. So this aspect is basically affective component. And yes, and this will be reflected in the behavioral tendency will be that they would not like to sit with that person, they would not like to eat with that person. So that is behavioral component, that is affective component. Remember, you may have positive affective component, that yes, you are not getting that hate, still you may be discriminating against that person. Yes, because of cognition. It may also happen that. For you talk about patriarchy, patriarchy from the perspective of father, you see that. So cognitively he is believing that males and female, for example, he believes that if I spend too much on, let's say, my female child or the girl child, then all that money will be gone because she will be married off. Yes, but if I invest this same amount of money on my son, then it will be investment because he will be staying with me only. Yes or no? So that is what? Cognitive component or affective component? That is cognitive component. So that is cognitive component. Affective component may be that he loves both the child, male child and girl child. But behavioral component will be discrimination against the girl child. He may not want to send the girl child to the coaching, that will waste only, rather spend that money on dowry. That attitude can be of any father basically. So now can you see affective component? So he is still discriminating amongst his sons and daughter, but may not have the hatred element amongst son and daughter. Understood or not? He is not having that affective component. Yes, all these three elements can actually work very differently than each other. They may align also. Understood or not? And when you actually make the decision, any of these components can actually matter a lot. You talk about addictions. You talk about addiction. Suppose someone is addicted to drugs, or someone addicted to alcohol, someone is addicted to, let's say gambling. Then that person is more driven by cognition or affective component. Affective component. So usually, the same theme is coming again regarding emotional intelligence, that emotions may be driving us all the time without us taking control over the emotions. That we are seeking gratification all the while in our life, that we are believing in consumerism. That if we have this fast food, if we have this, iPhone or anything like that, then it will make us happy. So that component, affective component, is actually making that decision. So in certain aspect of our life, our decisions are influenced by affective component only. But then the certain aspect of our life, the cognitive component dominate. Cognitive component dominate. For example, all of you took the decision that you will be enrolling into this course. Your attitude with respect to this course, I'm sure the decision, definitely wouldn't have been on the basis of affective component, because usually the students, they don't know me. There is no emotion with respect to me. So it is mostly a cognitive judgment that yes, that course should help us. Whenever you are buying the new car, then you do lot of calculation before you buy a new car or you buy a new laptop, for example, because the cognitive component is there. So when we make some important decisions in our life, like marriage, that then you do all these calculations at times. So that is cognitive component dominating your attitude. But at the same time, it may just happen that maybe you are so rich that you are buying all the cars and all the mobile phone out of emotions only. It may be the case. Then perhaps you will not be, indulging your cognitive component that much in buying of all those products, because you have so much of money to actually spend. Understood or not? So now you are able to understand cognitive and affective component. Yes, and also your behavioral component, it acts as a feedback loop. When you practice anything on a regular basis and if you derive some satisfaction from that, most likely you will keep on doing it. So that is the behavioral component. At times it also helps you. Now, all these So you talk about this person, you know. So at cognitive level, if you talk about very rationally that this person should not be eating this all of this fast food, yes or no? So, but still he is eating this fast food. So which component is dominating here? It is affective component that is dominating here. Now this is the scenario from like Bhag Milkha Bhag. You know, he's training very hard for the Olympic. You know, he's training really hard. So effectively, of course, it is not a very great side to be in, because to endure so much of pain, of course, that is not a very good emotion to go through. But cognitive aspect is very much high, that I need to win medal. And only when I go through this pain, I will get the medal. So basically, he's delaying the gratification. He's allowing his cognition to take charge, and he's not driven by, yes. Then similarly, there can be the example of, you know, feedback loop behavior. You know, maybe you do not like the movies of Abhishek Bachchan. Then the behavioral loop will dominate, and perhaps you will not like to experiment with that. That, you know, I will not be watching then your attitude towards the movies of Abhishek Bachchan will be shaped by your own behavioral experience with him. Understood or not? So at times, you know, when the task is very much important, usually this is the case, when task is very much important, it has a lot of relevance to your life, then cognitive component dominate. You know, when you make very important decision, which course to join, for example, or, you know, whom to marry or not. So all these decisions are very important decision of your life. So they are usually cognitive component dominate, and then affective component dominates in the questions which may not have that much of importance to you. Usually this is the case. Understood or not? So all this relationship, just to explain to you that cognitive, affective and behavioral component, they may act independently with each other, and one of these component may dominate your attitude. Whatever I have discussed, I am 100% sure it is not relevant for the UPSC examination, but I have to discuss it because the syllabus topic is there, structure and function of attitude. This is the structure of attitude. UPSC has not till date asked the question, you know, that the variation in this part, but still you can understand the importance of it, that if you have to change the attitude of someone, then you may need to, you know, change their cognitive aspect, affective component and behavioral component. Understood or not? So that is what we can understand from this topic. Usually UPSC will not ask the question in this fashion. Understood? Now, अभी आप इसको लिख लीजिए, then we'll discuss the next topic. This is called CAB model or the ABC model of the attitude. CAB model or ABC model of the attitude, affective, behavioral, cognitive, or cognitive, affective, behavioral. It depends upon you. It may be because of behavioral also. I'm not deciding anything, Sohani, but it is definitely not because of affective emotions. Usually this is what we can believe, but of course, if he's really enjoying that, then it will be affective also. And that is where the people who have alignment of cognitive, affective and behavioral component, they are usually, you know, they usually enjoy what they are doing, and then they get to achieve a lot. Understood, Sohani? She was asking that the Bhag Milkha Bhag slide that was there, how did I decide it is not behavioral? I did not decide. It is just for all that matter, he may be enjoying that emotionally also. Some people enjoy, you know, going to gym and breaking all the muscles. So it is just for the purpose of representation, I have told you that this is how different components dominate. Sir, in the case of buying car, can't we say that I love this car, thus buying it, and thus it is affective? And that's what I told you. If you are really rich, you know, then perhaps you will not go and see that what is the mileage of the car, you know, and what is the engine. You will simply buy the car because you are so rich. But usually the people who come from middle class or the lower middle class, and if they are buying the car, then usually their cognitive component will dominate over affective component, and they will usually see all these things, that what is the mileage and everything. So it really depends upon you. And both the component may align also. It is not the case that, you know, if you are buying the car, that emotionally you may not like it. It is not the case. That car may be in your budget also, and that's why cognitively and affectively you may like the car. And behaviorally you may have taken the test drive and you still like the car. So all these three components may align with respect to a car. Understood? जिन्होंने भी पूछा ये doubt, now that window has gone. Whosoever has asked this doubt, new car doubt, have you understood? Okay. Attitude and behavior being the same and different, previously we read about it. Okay, so basically this behavior that we are discussing, this is actually feeding the development of attitude. Okay, this is really different than the actual behavior. That is what you need to understand. It may or may not align. For example, you talk about patriarchal attitude. In that patriarchal attitude, or let's say talk about untouchability as an attitude. So the cognitive component is that of purity and pollution principle, that you believe in that. You believe that lower caste people are indulging in, let's say, polluting activity. You believe in that cognitive level. Affective component, you hate them because they are doing that. And behavioral level, you are, discriminating amongst them. Usually you are discriminating amongst them. But suppose that person become an IAS officer by chance and he is going to Labasna, and the presidential visit is there. Now, will he discriminate, against that person? So his actual behavior may still be different than the attitude he is holding. So these two behavior are a bit different. That is what you need to understand. One behavior is going into, usually this is how he will behave unless he is judged. Understood? जिन्होंने पूछा है ये doubt? Whosoever has asked this doubt, understood or not? Our attitude usually guide our behavior. Yes. I think I gave you the example in my last class only. That suppose you are someone who believe in discipline, but at behavioral level, you are not the disciplined person. Then your attitude is not guiding your behavior. Yes, here we are talking about the covert behavior in the sense that it is feeding the attitude development. Actual behavior may be different. Yes. कोई पूछ रहा था डाउट जी
Sir, you told that these three components may not align, sir. If they are not aligning, it might lead to ethical dilemma also.
Cognitive dissonance that we will discuss. Yes.
Ethical dilemma and the result.
Ethical dilemma will only come in the context of morality. Not all attitude will have, let's say, the element of morality. There can be amoral attitude, just like there were amoral values. For example, you go and you want to buy a particular, let's say, laptop, in a particular color, and there is only one piece available, but that is not the choice of your color. So the cognitive aspect is that the laptop is great. Affective component is the other color was great, but that is not available. But still you have to buy it because you need it. So the dissonance is there, and you may feel bad about it. But there is no morality here. There is no sense of rightness and wrongness here. I also told you one thing, that this whatever I have discussed is not that important from the perspective of examination. So if you are going into detail, then you are unnecessarily stressing yourself. But still, if you want to ask, you can ask. Yes, and also he may not believe. He may also believe that the smoking does not cause cancer because he's living like a life like anything. How can we say that? Suppose you are the drug addict, okay, for example, and your parents are telling you, what's your name? Shreya. That Shreya, do not do drugs. It is bad. It will kill you. Still, you are doing the drugs. Then which component is dominating? Affective is dominating. Yes, behavior is definitely is there, but affective component is dominating. You are doing that because you are enjoying that. Yeah, तो हो सकता है, दोनों हो सकता है. It may also happen that you also may believe that drugs are not harmful. Drugs are good for you. You may have seen some paper that drugs alleviate stress, and that is why you are taking drugs. It may also happen. Yes, cognitive is that. That may or may not go hand in hand. I think I should discuss ahead, because there is no end to this discussion. You need to understand that it is very much individualistic. There may be this person who enjoy working hard. He's getting up at 4 a.m. and working really hard. So affective, behavioral, cognitive component, all the components are aligning with him. Now, it may be because he's doing that because he wants to do it. but he's not enjoying it. Effectively, it is not giving him any happiness for that. So now I cannot say that which factor is guiding him, because from the outside I am only looking at the routine that he is following. So it is very much intrinsic, that whether you are doing it out of emotion, whether you are doing it out of cognition, or whether you are doing it because you want to do it. So that is why all these things very, very individual, individual to individually. Understood? You only need to understand that there are three important components, and then there can be dilemma between these three components. समझ में कैपिटल पनिशमेंट हाँ तो इंडिविजुअल मॉडल पे वो थोड़ा जजमेंट दे रहे हैं, वो तो लॉ फॉलो कर रहे हैं भाई. अगर लॉ में अगर है ही नहीं डेथ पेनल्टी तो कैसे वो दे देंगे डेथ पेनल्टी? वो दे ही नहीं सकते. हाँ हम्म 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 कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं आप? वो जो है ना, वो 3 इडियट में जो प्रोफेसर है, मेरा वही रिएक्शन है. हाँ तो कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस का एग्जांपल होगा, बहुत एग्जांपल होते हैं. और कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस के तो अभी तो पढ़ाऊंगा, अगला टॉपिक है कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस, दैट व्हेन दीज 3 थिंग्स आर नॉट इन अलाइनमेंट विद ईच अदर देन इट हर्ट्स. Ideally should hurt, that if you are not working hard then it should hurt. That is cognitive dissonance. Your actual behavior can be different than your attitude. Udit, I have just discussed. I have given you the example also. You are the most castiest person that this nation has ever seen, and you join the Lavasana somehow. Will you be behaving in that castiest fashion amongst your batchmate? Because otherwise, if you do that, then you have this feeling of getting judged with respect to other people. So your actual behavior may be really different. I think I give you the example of that DGP who was beating his own wife at his home. So, of course, at the outside media interaction level, he will be the person who will be promoting domestic violence act. That not domestic violence, implementing domestic violence act. But at inside, he was deep patriarch. He was indulging in that same act at the individual level. So actual behavior can be different. Understood? Till date, UPSC has not asked question directly on this. The question that UPSC asked is that how attitude, can lead to strength of character and something like that. So, yeah, how attitude can be changed. So we need to understand from that side only, that how to change attitude, you may need to change cognition, affective component. What do you think? The photos that are there on the cigarettes, they are related to what? Affective component. They want to, the images are put there because they want to evoke emotions of, yes. They want to, they want to avoid cigarette just by showing you that thing. But they don't know that you are emotionally intelligent, yes, that you can guard your emotions. So the purpose of that image is that only. Although it is like smoking kills, it causes cancer, but the cognitive level, it was not getting communicated to the people. आपको समझ में आ रहा है? हाँ. Earlier, the warning was still written there. At cognitive level, the smoking causes cancer, tobacco kills, but people were not understanding that. So to amplify that message, government added that pictorial warning, so that affective component is also enhanced. But still, since you are so addicted because of your behavior in your own example, you may still ignore both cognitive warning and affective warning, and still indulge in smoking. Yes, because behaviorally you are addicted to it. Understood or not? Computer game or any basically low risk is involved where usually. Now, no, don't argue. That's in various computer game, lot of application of mind is there and everything. I'm giving these examples to make you understand certain point. Like someone asked, सर ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है सब ग्रीन ग्रीन दिख रहा है तो शायद ये हेल्दी हो इसके लिए, यू नो, इफ यू थिंक लाइक दैट देन आई कैन नॉट हेल्प यू. Understood? Kaurvashita is an example of that. Some people, they want to. Now, this is what is important, that how do these, attitudes are actually formed. That is very, very important. How are attitudes formed? Yes, Divya, we can say that. How are attitudes formed? So, first attitude is basically your evaluation with respect to attitudinal object that we have already discussed. That attitude will always exist with respect to something. It is a relational term. So, attitude with respect to the attitudinal object. So, when a child is there, and he's, let's say, playing with the fire, he's playing with the fire, and his parents are telling him that don't play with the fire, because otherwise it will hurt you. But a child is not listening to them. Okay, so at times what parents do, they allow a child to play with fire so that the child can lesson hard way because of the sensory reaction. Because when you are a child, the only way, you are making sense of the outside world is through senses only. What you are seeing, what you are feeling, what you are hearing, that is the only way to make sense of the outside world. And based on your own emotion, evaluative aspect, you actually make the judgment. And that is why when a child is addicted to, let's say, he likes the chocolate very much, he is simply deciding that on the basis of sensory reaction. He does not understand what is diabetes, he does not understand what is sugar, what is HbA1c, he does not understand any of it. But he simply liking the taste of it. So his attitude towards the chocolate is getting formed on the basis of senses. And usually that is how our attitude is formed. Sensory reaction, that if our senses like it, then the attitude is usually positive. If our senses, they are not accepting that or we are not liking that, then our sense, usually we, since childhood, we may not like a particular type of vegetable. Yes, and very late it just happened. And that is simply because of the sensory reaction, and that has been so permanent in your memory that you do not want to change that. Okay, for quite some time, I did not like Karela. It just happened. I did not like it. But recently, somehow, one day, I just simply liked it. It just changed. I don't know how. So, all I am saying is that simply, because there is no cognitive aspect with respect to Karela. No cognitive aspect, When we are eating the vegetable, if we are liking it, we are liking it. So, that is sensory reaction. So, our sensory reaction are basically, guides the development of our attitude, especially at our childhood level, because that is the way we actually, make sense of outside world. Understood or not? So if the child, usually they are given the mobile phones, because their parents are so busy, in their life, that they give mobile phone to their child. So the child, he or she may not understand what is happening in the mobile phone, but he is, getting addicted to the bright colors of the mobile phone. He's not making sense of what is written over there, but he's getting addicted to those colors that are there, those bright colors. He's liking that. So his positive attitude towards mobile may be the result of sensory reaction than actually, the cognitive level. The parents might be like, "Arey acha hai, bhajan hi to dekh raha hai," but for all that matter, he's not understanding bhajan, even 1% of the bhajan. He's just liking the colors of the mobile phone, and that is why he's liking the mobile phone. So senses are the first way through which we actually make sense of the outside world and actually make our fundamental judgment about any attitudinal object. Then values. As we discussed, in the initial discussion, that values are broader in nature. If you remember, I never talked about the values, that values have to be with respect to anything, just like attitude. Values are broader in nature. So values are broad principles that we are supposed to follow. Understood or not? They are broad principles. And application of that in a particular area can actually, lead to the formation of attitude. Suppose you are born in a, let's say, Sikh family, and religiously you are seeing all those things that your family is conducting langar, doing so many charitable activities. Then your attitude, may be shaped by that. You may like doing those things. You may like, participating in langar. You may like participating in all those humanitarian initiatives. Understood or not? So that is what is more important, that your religious value may guide the development of your attitude. Understood? Your religious value. You talk about all these orthodox attitude that even educated people are having. Orthodox attitude that even educated people are having, with respect to honor killing, with respect to caste discrimination. Even the, one of the most educated people, they are having that. So those set of attitudes, are actually found by the religious values only, whatever dogmas they were fed while they were child. And that is still guiding their attitude. Understood or not? So religious values, basically they are preferences, broad preferences, and ultimately, it may lead to the development of the attitude. So religious value may be that, you have to help the mankind. That is a broad principle of Sikhism, for example. And your attitude may be that you now enjoy indulging in langar, you now enjoy indulging in a particular humanitarian initiative. So you just enjoy that. And that may be because that may be irrespective of the fact that you truly follow your religion. That may be irrespective of that fact that you truly follow Sikhism as a religion, but you like that one particular thing, that you like helping people. Understood or not? So basically that is how values also. You talk about Jain, you talk about Buddhist. A lot of emphasis there on non-violence. Non-violence is the principle. Non-violence is the principle. Now, attitude may be shaped by that we will not know. Usually, our attitude with respect to people will be that of non-violence. Understood or not? So that is values. So values are basically they actually help us in formation of attitude. Then observation learning, simple thing, just like that was there in our value formation. That how we perceive the outside world, our attitudes are shaped by that only. Yes, all the celebrities, role models that we are following. Then evaluative learning, at times our exposure to something, it coincides with something that is happening in our life. Yes. So how many of you have been, in relationship in one part of the time? Yes, very, very honest and brave of you. Nice. Okay. बस ये दो ही हैं, बाकी लोग एक तरफा. अच्छा, एक तरफा कितने लोगों का? एक तरफा हाथ खड़ा कर लो. वन साइडेड लव, वन साइडेड रिलेशनशिप कितने लोगों ने एक्सपीरियंस किया है? ये भी कोई हाथ खड़ा नहीं कर रहा. आपका एक तरफा ही था, दोनों में हाथ खड़ा कर दिया आपने. अच्छा, पहले एक तरफा था, बाद में दो तरफा हो गया. पहले दो तरफा था, बाद में एक तरफा हो गया. अच्छा, चलो, वट एवर द क्रोनोलॉजी इज. बाकी लोग बताओ भाई, बाकी लोग क्या है? यू हैव नॉट एक्सपीरियंस दैट इमोशन येट. I doubt it. I doubt it, and some of the people may not have, but so many people are here. अब कोई participate नहीं कर रहा, online वाले, but doubt पूछते रहते हैं ये. Okay, 3 failed attempts. Okay, nice. So basically, when you are in that phase, when you are liking someone or you are building the relationship, suddenly all the songs, all the poems, all the couplet, they start, sound very meaningful to you. You get to understand their meaning. Before that you may not have gone through, their lyrics in so great detail, but now you are going through so great detail. So that is what evaluative learning is all about. Suppose you have gone to, on a movie date with someone, and even though you are now not together, but still that movie will remind you of that person, of the positive experience that you had with that person, or the negative, whatever you had. Okay, so basically that is evaluative learning, that our experience with something actually reminds us of something. It's kind of nostalgic we become when we hear certain songs, certain movies, because we associate some positive experience with that. Understood or not? So that is evaluative learning, and that is how our attitudes are formed with respect to movies. So we may like certain movies because we went on date, on movie date with respect to those movies, and that is why we like those movies. And vice versa. We may hate certain movies also because of that only. So it basically our attitude with respect to those songs and movies are shaped by our experiences. Understood or not? और वाइस वर्सा भी होता है, जब वो चला जाता है फेज, देन ऑल्सो अल्ताफ राजा के गाने ज़्यादा अच्छे लगने लग जाते हैं, you find certain other genre that you start liking, and because it reflects your emotion. B Prak, what song is there? One song is there ना, lot of pain is there in that song. कौन सा सॉन्ग है? अरे अभिषेक अच्छा, बी प्राक के सारे सॉन्ग में पेन है क्या? yes. The Akshay Kumar track was there, Filal, yes. So basically all these things are there. So basically that is how we evaluate or get new attitude formations. Then at times simply because of exposure, simply because you are getting exposed to certain object for so long period of time that you are forced to actually like them. Basically you talk about green tea, you talk about black coffee. How many of you like black coffee? I did not expect that. Okay, so basically many of you like black coffee, but if you ask me or any other people, they may not like the taste of it. So initially, I'm sure it will be the case that if when you taste it for the first time, that you also did not like it, but because of the mere long-term exposure that was there, you started liking it. So just because of long-term exposure, just like your parents love you, similar thing, same concept. Just because you have been there for 30 कितने साल के हो आप? 24 years, they are forced to like you. Long-term exposure. You are just like that black coffee for them. So basically, that is what it is. The mere exposure effect, that since you are exposed to something for so long period of time, that you get positive attitude with respect to that. Then direct personal experience, that I think we have already discussed in the context of role-playing method, that how in the COVID lockdown, many males, they participated in household activities, and then they understood that the importance of the work that women were doing. So the attitude towards the household work changed because when they themselves experienced it. Then at times our self-perception, you talk about Ashoka, all these people, when they truly introspected their own life, the examination of their life, it changed their perspective. Okay, so that is self-perception. So basically, that is those are different ways through which, our attitude is formed. Then operant conditioning, we have already discussed, I guess. Yes, it is similar way the value system works, operant conditioning, that how our this thing is formed. Yes, attitude is formed. Then there is socioeconomic factors that are there. We'll discuss cognitive dissonance after some point of time. Then socioeconomic factors that are there. I think here you can talk about the role of curriculum. Yes, role of curriculum, that how after French Revolution, Napoleon changed the curriculum, so that the students have so much of nationalistic feeling and truly positive attitude towards the Napoleon, the national hero. Understood or not? So curriculum also have a lot of impact. Then unemployment. If suppose you are unemployed, then you may like the government, your political attitude, you may like the government which gives subsidies. You may like the government which gives you unemployment allowances. Yes, or you may like the government which removes CSAT. Of course, it depends upon the, the difficulty you are facing. So basically, the point is that your situation, whatever factor, socio-economic factor, whatever situation you are there, that affects the building of your attitude. Understood or not? So here, other aspect will be the family, education institutions, media, religious leaders, all those things that we discussed from the value inculcation, you can include that here also. Understood or not? Yes. So that is how attitude is usually formed. This aspect I will just explain after some time. So पहले तो लिख लीजिए, then I will discuss cognitive dissonance, a very important term that you will keep on quoting in your case study. Cognitive dissonance. Done? This is operant conditioning only. You write various factors here, and that is the most important thing that you will write in your answer. Before that, what we discussed were more theoretical points, sensory reactions and everything, because they also play a great role. But in the answer, that how prejudices are formed, if you're writing UPSC answer, how. So there you will talk about role of family, role of education institutions, role of media, those factors will be much more important. Yes, a role of government. So that answer will be drawn from there only. Yes, our past experience also decide our attitude. Yes, attitude changed. I think I discussed with respect to car accident that if you indulge in car accident, then no one indulges in car accident. Car accident happened to them, right? Okay, so your attitude with respect to seat belt and everything, safety, actually it becomes important. Done? So now let us talk about very important keyword that is there, cognitive dissonance. Very, very important keyword that is there, cognitive dissonance. So basically, you know, we are talking about, can I discuss? We are talking about the circumstances where our attitude and our behavior may be in conflict with each other, or our emotions and our behavior may be in conflict with each other. So basically, or we may be having two contrasting attitudes at the same time. In all such cases, we feel, lot of mental discomfort. I gave you the example, that cognitively, you believe that you should work hard. You believe that. Attitude is that yes, we have come here to work hard only. But somehow, because of some reason, you are not able to work hard. Then what is the feeling that you get? Most likely that you should get. What is that feeling? Guilt. Yes, mentally you feel that, not everything is all right. Only some people experience that. Other people, their attitude and behavior are in alignment only all the time. They don't feel guilt also. But yes, many people feel guilt. Many people feel this mental discomfort because the attitude and behavior is not in the alignment. Suppose you truly believe that smoking causes cancer and you have quit the tobacco and you quit the smoking. But one day your friend has come and because of the peer pressure, you took one cigarette. After that, what will you feel? The same, mental discomfort will be there. Kya nahi peeni thi, jabardasti pee li. Yes, so basically your attitude and your actual behavior is in conflict with each other. Understood or not? Understood or not? Similarly, there can be conflict between, let's say talk about honor killing, The parents, they may believe in that that intercaste marriage is absolutely wrong. So that is their attitude with respect to intercaste marriage. That it is absolutely wrong. They are very rigid about it, in fact. At the same time, they love their child. Yes, and their child has gone to ORN to prepare for UPSC and has come back with not IAS but with a with a companion, who is from different caste. Yes. So now the parents, the conflicting attitude is there. They also love their child so much. At the same time, they believe that the attitude with respect to intercaste marriage is basically very much negative. So they will have this intense mental discomfort when they will have this contrasting attitude. Understood or not? So that is again cognitive dissonance. Now in the context of case studies, let us discuss some of those examples. Some of the examples. For example, you are young and dynamic SP, that is posted, and the sand mafia case study that I have discussed that. Yes. So the sand mafia is threatening you, and otherwise you have had a great reputation. The very first line of the case study is that you are a very conscientious person, very hardworking, and you are known as a problem solver. Lot many good things were written about the character of the individual, that is you. But the sand mafia is threatening you with respect to the family safety and everything. Now, since you love your family also very much, you are recently married, yes, and at the same time you love what you are doing because that is what your character is. Virtue ethics is basically that only. That is how you are recognized by your colleagues, by the people in administration as a sincere, hardworking problem solver. That person should be sent to those posting, and that person will take care of the sand mafia there. So that is the kind of belief they have in you, the superior they have in you. So you might feel this cognitive dissonance. That now what you will do. So if you seek transfer, then also you may feel the guilt that, I am running away from the responsibility. And if you are not seeking the transfer, then also you may face the guilt that, that you are not taking care of the family. What you will do in such situation, we will discuss that in case study before you ask. But so that is the cognitive dissonances, that whenever contrasting attitude is there, whenever your actual attitude and your behavior, whenever you have lot of contrast between them, then it creates lot of mental discomfort for you. Understood or not? Understood or not? One important aspect of cognitive dissonance is that it may not always involve moral aspect. Your attitude basically can be amoral. Just the example that I gave you, that you suppose like a particular model of laptop. Cognitively you believe that it is very efficient and it will work very good for you, and you just go there to the shop, a discount is ending on that day, and you like one particular color, effective that particular color, but that color is not available, but the laptop is available, one last piece is there. So you somehow buy that laptop. So still there will be some discomfort because there is lot of contradiction within your own attitude, the cognitive and affective component with respect to that laptop. Understood or not? Yes. So but there is no angle of morality here. There is nothing that is here that will tell you about the rightness and wrongness of the human action. That was it right to buy that color of laptop? I mean, it is not the question of morality, it is a question of personal preference. Understood or not? So cognitive dissonance, they may or may not involve morality. That is what you need to understand, because that is one of the important differentiator that is there between cognitive dissonance and ethical dilemmas. In ethical dilemmas, there will always be the angle of morality. By the name, it is very much clear, ethical dilemma. We will discuss ethical dilemma later, don't worry. Okay, but by the name, ethical dilemma is there. So always there will be angle of morality. Always there will be angle of righteousness. For example, whether in the same case of Sand Mafia, whether I should save my family because the principle is love here, that is morality. Yes, that is what a person is expected to do, take care of his family. At the same time, whether I should do my duty, take on the mafia. So the principle of following your duty. So duty with respect to family is coming in conflict with professional duty with respect to handling of Sand Mafia. Understood or not? And this is ethical dilemma. This is ethical dilemma and also an example of cognitive dissonance in this case. Because your attitude with respect to your duty and your family may be in conflict with each other and with your behavior, whatever you do. Understood or not? Understood or not? So cognitive dissonance may not always have ethical aspect or the moral aspect. That is what you need to understand. Okay? So how do you resolve ethical dilemmas? At times you just change the behavior or the cognition, For example, if you want to eat some candy, it is high in sugar. So you may simply change the behavior that I will not eat the candy anymore and there will not be any guilt. For example, I will not have any more cigarettes and then there will not be any guilt. No dissonance is there. Your cognition, your attitude with respect to cigarette and your actual behavior are in alignment with each other. You are not smoking cigarette. So that is how you resolve. Or you may justify your behavior or cognition by changing the confliction. That at times you are allowed to have some cheat meals. Similarly, at times, 1 or 2 cigarette does not harm actually. ये दिल्ली वाले तो 200 सिगरेट डेली का पी रहे हैं, तो मैं तो यहाँ पे नागपुर में रह रहा हूँ तो मैं तो एक तो पी ही सकता हूँ. कसौल में रह रहा हूँ तो यहाँ तो पूरा माहौल अच्छा है, ठीक है, तो यहाँ तो पिया ही जा सकता है. So the thing is, basically you can change your cognition, understood? Just like you do when you are not studying well, that it is okay that, I cannot study so well all the time. It is very much human. So you are changing your cognition just to make you comfortable. And that is how you are resolving your mental discomfort. Understood or not? Understood or not? Then at times you can justify your behavior by adding an extra cognition. कि यार एक चॉकलेट ही तो खाई है, I will burn extra, I will, let's say, run 5 kilometers after that, and that's how I will burn the extra calories. So there is no dissonance. Suppose you have gone to this concert, Diljit concert. So ideally you are supposed to be studying, but then I will study harder after that. So I will compensate for the 2 hours or 3 hours that I lost there. So basically you are justifying yourself, and that is how you want to give yourself some comfort. Understood or not? Understood or not? Or you may simply deny the information, that this thing is even harmful. Cigarettes are not harmful. My grandfather, he has been having cigarettes all the time and he's very much still alive and kicking. So that is how you can justify that. You can simply say, answer writing, you talk about answer writing. Answer writing, sir, I know one candidate, sir, he did not write any answer. He straight away wrote in mains only and got into the list. So simply you are adding one more cognition just to satisfy yourself that if you are not doing answer writing, then perhaps you still have chance to make it to the civil services just like that person. Understood or not? So basically that is how you resolve the discomfort that you are having by changing these various aspects. अरे समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? So now you can please note it, cognitive dissonance. Just remember, greater the dissonance, greater the dissonance between two different, then greater is the amount of discomfort that you are facing. Basically, your attitude towards your family is very high, and attitude towards your duty is also very high. Then you will face lot of discomfort. Things are edgy when you do not have a strong attitude. When you have weak attitude, then you will not have lot of cognitive dissonance. If you are someone cigarette पी भी लेते हैं, नहीं भी पी लेते हैं, तो chances है ना कि आपको नहीं होगा dissonance. Yes? I will discuss that, Gokul, later. When I teach you ethical dilemma, another term is also there, crisis of conscience. Okay? The three terms I will tell later in that part. Cognitive dissonance, ethical dilemma, and crisis of conscience. But here you understand that not every cognitive dissonance comes with morality. Please note. So how do you minimize? So one aspect attitude formation is that since in the case of the parents, so they disapprove of the intercaste marriage. Understood? So because they love their child very much, but at the same time, they disapprove of intercaste marriage. So, what is the option they have? Either they need to say goodbye to their relationship with the child, or they need to accept the intercaste marriage are happening. So that is how now their new attitudes will be formed with respect to intercaste marriage. Suppose they prioritize that yes, that your sons and daughters are more important to you than your attitude, then perhaps you will change your attitude with respect to intercaste marriage and say, ja beta, ji le apni zindagi. And that is how your new attitude will be formed, because you need to minimize the discomfort you are having. Understood? So that is how another important aspect of, we will discuss that. In today's class, we will discuss that again, that how this has been used by in Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and everything, the practical aspect. This topic is a little bit theoretical also. This was done, I think. Is cognitive dissonance is a positive term or negative term? Ayush, it depends upon. It depends that what this dissonance is all about. If dissonance is, for example, if you are not studying properly and then you are feeling the guilt of it, then maybe it may be positive for you. Okay? But if the dissonance is with respect to orthodoxy, the example of intercaste marriage I gave you, it may or may not turn out to be positive. For example, the parents may decide otherwise, that they need to prioritize intercaste marriage attitude, and then they will simply indulge in honor killing. And that is negative aspect of cognitive dissonance. Understood? So next important topic is functions of attitude. The syllabus topic is structure and functions of attitude. I don't know if UPSC has asked any question on this, but still the topic is there. Functions of attitude. Functions of attitude. So attitude, as we know, is the evaluation of the attitudinal object. Yes? That is what we have understood, that attitude is the evaluation of the attitudinal object positively or negatively. So, if functions, what do we mean by functions of attitude? Basically, that how does attitude play an important role in our life? At the level of individual, how does attitude helps you? That is the functionality of attitude. How does attitude help you? For example, many people said that caste system, the functionality of caste system lies in the fact that ensures division of labor. In society, the labor is divided. That is what they argued. We are not going to that case. But functions of anything basically means that what is the functional value of attitude with respect to that person. So one of the aspect is knowledge function. Suppose I give you a glass of water and that glass of water has odor. Certain distinct odor is coming out of it. It may be possible that clinically that water is safe for human consumption. It may be possible. But a distinct odor is coming out of it. But what will happen? You will not drink that water because the odor is there. Similarly with food. If a distinct smell comes out of food, then it may just happen that you may not take that food. Do you go to laboratory and ask them to check your food, whether it has gone stale or not? Do you go to laboratory and ask them to check the water, whether it is, a drinkable water or not? Understood or not? Suppose snake is there. Whether you take the snake and go to the laboratory and ask them whether it has poison or not? What you will do? Whether you evaluate every snake on the basis of its attribute? No, you don't. Because our attitude with respect to snake is in general, again when I am saying that I am generalizing, yes, because I don't know, some of you may be snake lover, then you don't ask me this question, how can you say, sir, that people are fearful of snake? Usually people fear snake. Okay, so overall they have this attitude of fear with respect to snakes. So even when they fundamentally know at cognitive level that 70% of snakes are non-venomous and 80% of the bites are dry bites, still they will fear snakes. So as soon as they see the snake, they will try to protect themselves. They will not try to take that snake to the laboratory and see whether it's or not. So basically their attitude is helping them not doing these calculations on a case by case basis. They have simply generalized that yes, snakes are dangerous for me and I will stay away from the snakes. Understood or not? They have simply generalized that if suppose the order is there in the food and water, if the smell is not that great, then perhaps the food and water is not good, not fit for the human consumption, and that is why I should not eat it, and that is why they will not take that to the laboratory, they will simply not have it. So basically our attitude is helping us to make sense of the outside world, listen to me very carefully, by creating categories of knowledge with respect to attitudinal object. That we should not eat or drink, something that is having odor, or we should not go very near to snakes because it may be poisonous. So basically that is how it is helping us. So we need not evaluate every time what we should do or we should not do. We know very fundamentally what we are expected to do. Understood or not? So that is what the function of knowledge function means. That by attitude you are having this knowledge function. It is helping you in making sense of outside world. Understood or not? But of course, as the negative side is, it may lead to stereotyping, and that is why we often kill snake even though it is not poisonous. It may lead to stereotyping. Suppose some region, you talk about Jamtara, yes, it is very much infamous for all those frauds that are happening, or any region that is very much, let's say, infamous for being Naxalite area or some area. Then if you meet someone from that area, your attitude will be the negative attitude, that the person may be the Naxal or the person may be the terrorist, for example, and you may not have very positive, although that person may be innocent. But your attitude is actually helping you in making sense of the outside world. Usually the people from that area like that only, and that is how you should behave. And that is why, you need not evaluate everyone and everything, every time actually. Understood or not? But again, it may backfire because it may lead to stereotyping, just like of snakes and everything. Understood? Then instrumentality function. Instrumentality simply means that when I say that something is having instrumental value to you, it means that you can use that to gain some net rewards. Instrumentality. Suppose you fundamentally have this attitude of working hard, workaholic, because you believe that by having that attitude, ultimately you will benefit only. Instrumental function. And because that is what that has carried you so far in your life, and you would like to maintain that attitude. So now you need not evaluate every time whether I should work hard or not. Whether you are in civil service, whether you are in the civil service journey, or suppose you go to in private sector after this journey, unfortunately, it gets over for you, or one way or other. If you have this fundamental attitude of working hard, you will work hard in every walk of your life because that is what you believe in. And those are the people who excel in almost all domains of their life because they believe that that is what that will take them far. So they will bear that attitude, as an instrumental attitude because it helps them, in actually giving lot of good performance. You talk about Virat Kohli, not the Virat Kohli of present times. He has changed a lot. Okay, so talk about 6-7 years back. So he was having aggression all the time on his sleeves because he believed that his aggression helps him to bring the best performance out of him, and that is why he will always remain animated. At the same time, you talk about Rahul Dravid. So he believed in being calm. He believed in being in zone, that he will not be. He did not want to be disturbed by the outside element, because he believed that that zone, that calm attitude in which he is not giving it back to anyone, even though they are sledging him, that is helping him in terms of playing good knocks. On the other hand, Virat Kohli believed that if he pick a fight against anyone, or he enter into that kind of banter or battle with anyone on the field, of course, then it helps him in terms of performing better. So he will follow that attitude because ultimately it is helping him in performance actually. Understood or not? So that is the instrumentality function of attitude. We follow our attitude because that is what it has helped. Then socially adjustive function. Some attitudes, they are fashionable. Some attitude is fashionable. Suppose all of you seems educated. Okay, so all of you are educated, young, people who are sitting here. Yes. So suppose there is a boy, and he wants that he should be in the good books of girls. Suppose he wants that, and to be in the good books of the girls, of course that person cannot display his patriarchal attitude. He need to behave, he need to act, he need to say things that support feminism, because that is what he believe will get that person in the good books of the girls. So socially adjustive function, certain attitude we adopt because we feel society, all the group of people will accept us if we do that. You talk about Sanskritization. Yes, in society, if you hear this term Sanskritization, so that is basically, that attitude is only that if you indulge in all such activities, all those Brahmanical activities, Sanskritization, then you believe that the upper caste people will accept you. So that is socially adjustive function. If you believe in a particular political ideology and you recently joined that, you talk about all these leaders, of a national political party, whenever they join that political party, they feel that it is obligatory on them to spew venom, and then only they will be regarded that they truly believe in the ideology of that political party. On the other hand, it may be the case that their top leader may not approve of that, but they are doing it just because they want to be noticed. Understood or not? They are doing it just because they want to be noticed, and that is why they will say so many nonsense things regarding all these cow vigilantism and everything, even though their top leader may not approve of that. And that is why you hear that. So basically they want to display their attitude because they want more acceptance from their political leaders, from their people whom they want to represent. Socially adjustive function. We talk about patriarchal. Some parents, they know they are patriarchal, but they still want to remain patriarchal. Why? They don't approve of, let's say, intercaste marriage. Why? Because they don't want to lose company of their peers. Because they will believe the society will outcast them. Yes, and that is why they need to follow the norms that are set by the attitude that are set by the society. Socially adjustive function. Understood or not? Then ego defensive function, that at times, you may be going through a lot many people are telling you lot many things, that you are not good person, you are not great, everything. Ultimately, then you have this attitude in which you simply defend yourself. You simply defend yourself. And you say, मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ. That this is how I am. And I'm so unique, and that is why people are having so much of problem. फिर वो कैसे justify करेंगे खुद को कि इंसान खुद से खुश रहना चाहिए, दुनिया तो भगवान से भी दुखी है. And they will justify everything, every behavior of theirs under this attitude that what they are doing is right because they feel they are right. So, ego defensive function. They want to defend themselves using their attitude that we are like this only, we will not change. Yes, and some attitudes display their value. You talk about Ganguly, very aggressive, Virat Kohli, that was discussed. Because these values are very much central to their personality. That is how they want to, express themselves. So that is another important aspect of attitude, that it helps you in terms of being expressive. And that is why some people who want to, look cool, then you will see that they are wearing all those, fancy clothes, all those tattoos will be there all over their body because they want to look cool. So they are simply expressing their attitude that this is our identity. So that is value expressiveness that is there. Understood? So that is function of attitude. Again, UPSC has not asked this structural function of attitude, but you must know this because in the context of application you may be asked. For example, a question was there, लिख लीजिए फिर बताएंगे. ऑनलाइन वालों डन? Instrumental बोला ना आपको example. Psychophancy. To take the example of psychophancy. Some people are psychophants in their attitude. They will like to butter their boss all the time because they believe that is what that will help them in terms of getting good promotion. Now, psychophancy is an attitude for some people. Understood? Role playing, I give the example of this now. COVID. That when you actually experience something yourself that actually helps you in changing of attitude. Various Bollywood actors, when they play some distinct role, they go through a lot of training. They themselves want to experience those things, and that is how it helps them. Prerna, understood? Sareen, I think I just gave you the example. Yes, this is a very small topic. So moral attitude, just like there are moral, amoral and immoral values, similarly the attitude may be moral, amoral, immoral. So what are moral attitude? So basically the attitude that is based on moral convictions, in which the central idea is about goodness or rightness and wrongness of human action. Understood or not? And that is why not all attitudes are concerned with morality that we have just discussed. You may be having positive attitude for color, or any particular dress or any particular destination, that is where you would like to visit, but it may not concern morality. So moral attitude are basically specific category of attitude where rightness and wrongness of human action is associated. You talk about loyalty, you talk about honesty, reverence, in which we are supposed to respect each other, compassion, all these things are attitude. Honesty is the attitude. That usually we should be honest in our life. So, if you are not honest, then you will be judged wrongly. So, moral attitudes are basically those attitudes which have the fundamental basis of rightness and wrongness of human action behind them. ठीक है? It is very easy only. Now, let us look. अरे मैं भूल गया ना आपको. So one question was there that one quotation of the Gandhiji, it came in the UPSC examination only, that a person is what he thinks. Yes, he becomes what he thinks. Something like question was there. Whatever you think, you become like that person. So this question is actually, again, that is how UPSC will ask the question, not directly. So a person is what he thinks he becomes. So basically here Gandhiji is emphasizing the linkages between thinking and becoming. So when you are talking about becoming, you are talking about character. For example, you will become lazy. So basically being lazy is your character. Yes, understood or not? So he is saying what you think you become. So basically what you think is which aspect of attitude? Cognitive part. Yes. So what you think will lead to the formation of attitude, and that attitude will guide your behavior, and when you do your behavior consistently, it will become the characteristic trait. And that is what Gandhiji is saying, that what you think you become. So suppose you believe, you think that purity and pollution principle is right, or it is there, you believe in that, then your attitude will be casteist. Your behavior, your attitude will be of caste discrimination, and your behavior will be of that. If you practice it consistently, then you will become a casteist person. That is what you will become. Similarly, if you believe that, in racial prejudice, then your cognition will be that you think that they are not as good as you. The blacks are not as good as whites. That is what you will think, and attitude will be of discrimination, and then you will become a racist. So what you think you will become, understood or not? So that is what the quotation is saying. What you think you will become. If you think good, you will become good person. Understood or not? So usually the question comes that what does this statement means to you in present context? So you talk about here the importance of thoughts in the present context, because thoughts are shaped by the context of question. I think I will discuss it in that only. In the context of media, that how media is shaping your thoughts. And because of that, you are becoming some sort of person. How it is leading to stereotyping, how it is making women an object of, entertainment. And that is what you will also believe and behave like. So talking about media, talking about role of literature, because it also influences thought. Positively also, if you indulge in good literature, it will also change your attitude. You talk about all the great works, that was there of the intellectuals in every great revolution. How those intellectuals change the thought process and the attitude of the people and then behavior of the people. Yes, a man is but the product of his thought, what he thinks he becomes. That is what the statement was. Yes. So basically this is in the company, company, colleagues. A man is the average of 5 people he spend the most time with. Yes. So basically your company talks. So that is how it is relevant that you should keep good company. Understood or not? So basically we'll discuss that in the context of answer writing once again. But that is how question will be asked. Directly question will not be there. Tell the 3, cab model of the attitude, explain that. That question will not come. So that is why when you are going to that much of detail, it is not required. Understood or not? So that is how question will come, and we need to do the application. So similarly, let us talk about political attitude now. Now this is very, very important. Now what is political attitude? What is attitude? Our expression of favor or disfavor. Yes. Our overall evaluation of any attitudinal object. So political attitude is that only expression of favor or disfavor towards different political parties or any political ideologies. That is what political attitude is all about. Now some people may have leftist attitude. Yes, they believe in that, because the people who have this leftist political attitude, they believe in distributive justice. They believe in reducing inequality, they believe in reservation, they believe in subsidies. That is what they will approve of. On the other hand, rightist political ideology will believe in maintenance of status cohesion. For them, hierarchy or inequality is not bad by itself. Because when we say that, suppose I give you the example, suppose you are not preparing for the IAS, all of you are preparing for some economic activity in the society, that all of you So suppose I tell you that no matter how hard you work, all of you, suppose, of course, there will be different type of job that you will get after completion of this training, but the remuneration structure of all those jobs will be same for you. Then am I creating any incentive for you to study hard or work harder? No. So that is what they believe, that hierarchies are not bad by itself. They are actually the incentive for certain people to work hard. And that is why, if you are truly eliminating inequality, then you may be creating disincentive actually for people not to work hard. So that is what they believe in. They believe in status cohesion. They believe. So that is rightist. Then centrist, basically, they are more pragmatic. They avoid taking the extreme. They are in sort of middle. So that is what centrist. The reactionaries are basically, they believe in revival of the past. Talk about ISIS. Talk about Taliban. All these people, they want to revive that. That is how they should rule. They should rule the nation based on some principle. Some revival of past. Basically, reactionaries. Some people are conservative in the context that they don't want lot of changes in the society. They want that some changes, it should come slowly. Bureaucracy, for example, it believes in status cohesion. It does not want revolutionary changes in the bureaucracy. Small changes it wants. Yes? So, those people have political ideology of conservative. Then progressive are basically radical people. They believe in total revolution. The revolutionary overhaul should be there. Understood or not? So, if we just discuss that, Bhagat Singh, the earlier era of Bhagat Singh, the first version of Bhagat Singh, he was more radical. That, we will overthrow the British government through the use of violence only. He was more radical. So, because he had a lot of energy in him, understood or not? All these no changers, yes, on the Swaraj party and the people who wanted to take part in political office, they were more or like that we should have incremental changes. So their political ideology was like that only. We should have incremental change. Understood or not? And reactionaries, I think all the examples, Taliban and ISIS, all of you know. Understood or not? All these three things, I think you can associate them with a lot of political parties that are there in our country. So, that is what political attitude is. Now, remember, political attitude, अब बहुत important discussion है, बहुत ध्यान से सुनिएगा, that political attitude is not just about expression of favor or disfavor towards a political party. Now, when we talk about politics, we need to think at very broad level if you want to write a very good answer. It does not simply mean that we have to go and vote only. Politics is essentially about public interest. It's essentially about what is good for the public. So politics is about public. So whatever concerns public and how you are deciding that public interest will come under the gambit of politics. So if you are having a pressure group and you are pressurizing government that this is what you should do, that is also politics. If you are, let's say, NGO protesting against any policy, that is also politics. If you are simply fighting the RTI, that is also taking part in politics. Understood or not? If you are simply going and vote, of course, that is politics. And within the political party, how you are selecting the candidate, whether there is democracy within your political party or not, that is also politics. Understood or not? समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा आपको? How actually the government is functioning, that is also politics. The relationship between legislature and executive, that is there, that is also politics. Coalition politics, the name is there, it is also politics. So basically, when you think of politics, you think from the perspective of voters, you think from the perspective of political parties, you think from the perspective of civil society, you think from the perspective of citizen groups, you think from the perspective of all those people, who are deciding or taking part in this great democracy. Understood or not? So that is what politics is all about. I'm not talking about political party only. I'm talking about politics. And that is why, listen to me very carefully, a very potential question that is there in the UPSC examination. If the question says that you may not be interested in politics, but politics is definitely interested in you, what does it mean? You लिख लीजिए, you may not be interested in politics, but politics is definitely interested in you. This is the question that can be asked by UPSC. One version of this question has already been asked by the UPSC. You may not be interested in politics, but politics is definitely interested in you. Now, you talk about especially this urban middle class or the young people who are living in, I will give you the example of Bengaluru. Now, people, they have graduated from very good colleges, they are living in Bengaluru, they are working in MNCs, drawing hefty packages, a lot of money they are earning. So if you ask them, are you really concerned what is happening in Indian politics, they will say it does not matter to us. That they will not go and vote, and it does not matter to them that who is at the helm, whether it's Congress or BJP, because they will say all of them are same only. Simply because they are having this indifferent attitude towards politics, that they are not at all interested in politics. Because if they believe, because that is what they believe, that what they are doing, whatever their career progression is or everything is, will not be decided by government. Understood or not? Have you seen such people in your life? It may be the case, you yourself may be that person. That what is it that we have to do with the politics? We have to study hard and let's say get the good grades in the examination, and let's say we have to clear the civil service examination. What do we have to do with politics? We have to practice political neutrality from now only. So basically, for all that matter, that is what you also may believe in, that we are not interested in politics. It does not matter to us what is happening in the political parties and everything. But the next part is that politics is definitely interested, and that is why when you go in Bengaluru and you see the filthy condition of the roads that is there, you go there, the roads, lot many potholes are there. The roads are not even properly constructed. You imagine the kind of income tax that particular city is contributing to the country, and what is the kind of infrastructure they are getting. Insane amount of money is there in Bengaluru for this, because of these MNCs and people who are working. Insane amount of money, I am telling you. You cannot even imagine. And despite paying so much of taxes, they are not getting water. They are getting water from the tankers, I told you. Yes, every time there is a flood, they have to vacate their houses and everything. And road structure is not. Traffic, of course, is subhanallah, all of you would have heard about it. So basically, although they may not be interested in politics, but the politics, how exactly government is functioning, is definitely interested in them. How their drinking water supply will be there, how disaster will be managed, what kind of roads they will be driving upon, air pollution wahan pe kaisa rahega, nahi rahega. All these things are definitely impacting them, although they may not see the causal relation between their participation and the government's accountability towards them. Although they may not see that. Understood or not? So, that is this saying, you may not be interested in politics, but politics is definitely interested in you, and you will start your answer from the basic services. You talk about drinking water services, decided by municipality only. You talk about basic environmental provisions, air pollution, water pollution, so many problems are there, noise pollution. Yes, you talk about it. You talk about regulatory infrastructure, regulations. You are building a startup thinking that what do I have to do with government? One of my friend, he was building a startup regarding cryptocurrency. Very hardworking person, very intellectual and talented person. My own batchmate, he was building the startup around cryptocurrency. The RBI regulation came and, simply everything just vanished. So maybe he was not interested in politics, but politics were definitely interested in him. By single regulation, whatever he worked for so many years simply vanished. So, through regulations, through law and order, although you may not be interested in politics, interested in voting and holding government accountable, but the law and order situation that is there. You talk about all those discrimination that is happening in Bengaluru in the name of Kannada language that is there, that you have to speak Kannada language only. Lot many hate crimes are happening there. Lot many hate crimes. Many of my friends have experienced that. So I'm telling you, you talk about that. So although they may see that we may not enter in politics, but that is how the politics of hate is getting to them. Ultimately, it is getting to them only. Are you understanding this point now? That you will never be aloof of politics through these various aspects. And ultimately, you are paying taxes only, one way or other. Yes? If you are paying taxes, then how you can be aloof of politics? Understood? So that is what this saying is, that you may not be interested in politics, but politics is definitely interested in you when you talk about this perspective. Understood? So let us understand that what are the factors that influence development of political attitude. I think we have discussed historical factors because of our colonial past, because of the way we have been subjugated by colonial masters. Now we value freedom and sovereignty like anything. Understood or not? That is what political attitude, formation of political attitude with respect to sovereignty, because of collective experience of colonial subjugation. Understood or not? Because of caste also. The statement is there that you don't cast your vote, you vote your caste. And caste is a very, very important factor in the context of politics. We know that. You talk about in the context of voting pattern behavior, you talk about formation of caste-based political parties, you talk about formation of caste-based All India associations. It is there or not? All India Jat Sabha, All India Kshatriya Sabha. What is this? Political organizations only on the basis of caste. So, of course, if you belong to Jat, if you are a Jat, then you will perhaps have very positive political attitude towards All India Jat Sabha if organization is there. If you are a Vishnoi, then whatever all these guys are doing, you may have favorable opinion of them that what they are doing perhaps is good only. So basically your identity, it actually factors a lot in terms of your political attitude. Gender, of course. In Bihar, Nitish Kumar announced that, that liquor ban will be there. So when he announced that, he was shaping the political attitude of the 50% of his electorate. Because the liquor was influencing them through domestic violence. So caste, gender, family, usually, your political attitude is shaped by family also. हम तो कांग्रेस वाले हैं जी, हम तो बीजेपी वाले हैं जी. इसका मतलब क्या है? Since your family ages, you are voting to that political party only. So family traditions also matter a lot. Family, education. Someone who is, educated, then he will be liberal. He will believe in liberal value. He will support liberal political parties. Age. People who are young, they may believe in radical political ideas. They may like the political parties which offer idealistic solution or radical solution because they are so much seething with anger and everything. Rage. But you talk about elderly people, if you are an elderly person, then you know that you have seen all this drama for last 60, 70 years and you know at your heart that nothing major will change instantaneously. So your attitude may be of, that is, conservative political attitude. So basically your age also, economic status, I will discuss. If you are poor, you would want subsidies to happen. If you are rich, you will not want subsidy to poor, but you want tax break to yourself. Okay, so it depends upon the perspective basically, whether you are rich or poor. So economic status actually decides a lot about your political party. Then role of media. Media also shapes our political. You talk about Achhe Din Aane Wale, the campaign that were designed by Prashant Kishore. So basically, role of media. Circumstances. How many of you have read about the rise of Hitler? How Hitler actually rose? If you read that very carefully, you will understand that Hitler rose in the background of economic crisis. And whenever there was economic crisis, there was cyclic economic crisis that was there, in those time only Hitler party will get more votes than any other political party. And when he became the, chief protagonist of the German history, he did not even have majority. But people believed in him because he was offering radical solutions. And if you see in the rise of all these autocrats, you will see that is common background that is there, economic crisis. Whenever there is economic crisis, people, they look up to someone like he's the Masiha who will pull us out from this economic misery. And that is why they will have a lot of faith in that person, making him or the autocrat, and he will justify everything in the name of greater good. So circumstances also decides political attitude. Understood or not? So basically, this is a very, very important theme where UPSC can ask you a question that why young people are not participating in politics. Why they are not participating in politics? What are the factors? What is the role? What you can do to make them participate in politics? So this is a very, very important theme. So the very first thing that you can do is make them realize that you may not be interested in politics. Politics is interested in you, and that is why your fate is very much linked with. Yes. Understood? For does having a family culture of indulging in political discourse regularly, not necessarily out of political party, is also a part of family factor influencing? I am not getting your question, Supriya. I am only saying that usually family traditions play a great role in terms of voting behavior. Usually family votes collectively. Usually this is the case. That is a question that you need to answer, Subhangi. That is a question that UPSC asked. Why youth are not interested in politics? The very first reason is that they believe that politics does not concern them. It is the job of some other people and they should do it. It is not our cup of tea and it is not something that we should indulge in. We should indulge in something that is perhaps more interesting for them. Understood?
What other part can we give in that youth is not interested in politics?
That you decide. Other points. Another point may be that people are not getting much return, when they're participating in the voting pattern behavior, they see that their votes, when you are getting a lot of nota, but nota is having no effective value. That may be the one of the reason that lack of real choice among the political candidates that is there. Yeah, migrants, lot many reasons can be cited for that. Lack of stewardship is very important reason. Yes, Riya. Please note it. And this is a very important theme. Just remember, when you are talking about participation of people in politics, you are talking about not just from the perspective of voting pattern or behavior. You are talking about that they are not filing RTI to hold government accountable. They are not participating in social audit. You are talking about from that. They are not participating in protest. No, they are not part of any group that is actually espousing for their own interest. So that is also part of politics. They are not demanding that there should be democracy within the political party. All these are example of politics only, participation in politics only. The participation of youth in politics should not just be through votes. It should be through all these activities. ये समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा? फिर डायमेंशंस नहीं खोलेंगे आपके आंसर्स में. Yes? Political ideology, a political culture can have different shades of political ideology. So both these two things can be different actually. Political culture की हम बात करेंगे तो ये collective opinion है. अब collective opinion किसका है? इस पे बहुत depend करेगा. जैसे you talk about India. Now collectively we believe that we are democratic. Yes, that we believe in democracy. So the political culture is of that. But if you talk about the evolution of central government, if you look at it, then there's a difference in the way the central governments have been functioning. Initially when they functioned, they took democracy very seriously. In between, they understood the loopholes around there, and that is where you saw how the offices like president rule and governor officer were misused like anything. And now the political culture, is going toward different things. Now they are misusing for. So basically it depends upon the context. Political culture for any other thing is basically what is the shared attitude and shared values of the community, whichever community you are referring to in the context of political culture. Political culture of Rajasthan may be different than political culture of, let's say, Tamil Nadu, because you see in political culture of Rajasthan every year we are flipping the government. Okay, that is a political culture that is happening in our but that culture may be different than some, let's say, talk about another. You talk about Kerala, there the issues may be different, but some other state, the caste may be an important issue. So political culture is basically the shared opinion. Political culture of Kerala may have a different political ideology than the political culture of Rajasthan. Political culture of India may be different than political culture of Pakistan. So it depends upon the context. Political culture, by the word of it, is basically the shared values and shared attitudes that you are having. And किनका sharing की बात कर रहे हैं? This is a reference, whether it is Rajasthan, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, or India, or globe, that depends upon the context. Yeah, culture will always work. We talk about work culture. What is work culture? Work culture is shared attitude. No, you go to the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, let's say corruption is the norm. Chalta hai, sab chalta hai, attitude is there. Then work culture will be talked about as corrupt only. Even though there is one individual who is working hard, who is honest, who is non-corrupt. So a single attitude does not, define work culture. Although it can change work culture like each citizen did, that is a different story. But it will not define work culture. Understood or not? Political culture is shared political attitude. What people are sharing amongst them. So we talk about from the perspective of political parties, from the perspective of region, from the perspective of nation, from different people to people it can vary. Individual, yes, so that individual perspective it is saying. Yeah, so political culture is, you can talk about that. So, you talk about this. In this question, the political culture and political parties is actually that there is very little democracy that is there in terms of selection of candidate. No, very little participation of workers are there in terms of selection of candidate or distribution of tickets. So that political culture is, across almost same across all political parties, and that is hindering the participation of youth in the politics because they will never get the ticket. Done? Done? This part done? Culture as a term, whenever you encounter, it is a shared values. Shared attitude. If I say what is bureaucratic culture? So what bureaucracy collectively is sharing amongst them. So bureaucratic attitude is what? Red tapeism, rationality, hierarchy, that is shared. The question was there. In 16th question was there, what is the difference between democratic attitude and bureaucratic attitude? So bureaucratic attitude is basically what bureaucracy collectively is having. So there are positive side to this also, that they believe in rules and regulations, they don't believe in traditions or charisma, they believe in hierarchy, they believe in merit-based selection, they believe in rationality, that is objectivity, their emotions are value neutral, they are not driven by emotions, prejudices, personal preferences. So that is positive part. So that is bureaucratic attitude. A negative part of bureaucratic attitude in the functional aspect is that we see that there are rules becoming end in themselves. They promote corruption. Red tapeism is there, status quoism is there, my-bap culture is there, and closed system approach is there. So basically, we are seeing two aspects of bureaucratic attitude. One is positive part, and another is negative part. And both these are there as shared pattern of attitude and behavior in the bureaucracy. Of course, you will see administrator who are really good, in terms of they are mostly positive. There are no negativity that is there but they does not define culture. Understood or not? Those people can change culture for sure. When we talk about Delhi Metro becoming the punctual organization, so in the context of completion of all the project, we talk about when all the people started behaving in that fashion. Okay. Initially, only E. perhaps would be the person who was punctual with respect to completion of project, but he instilled that value in the entire work culture, and that is why it became part of work culture. To make something part of work culture, it is important that all the people, it is shared value. It should become shared values. Yes, not majority, shared value. Almost all the people should follow the same thing. Understood or not? And that is the question was there, that whether the question solve ho raha hai, to sun lijiye, whether democratic attitude can be in alignment with bureaucratic attitude. Question was like this: what is democratic attitude, what is bureaucratic attitude, and whether they can be in alignment, whether they are compatible. So yes, democratic attitude is compatible with the positive side of bureaucratic attitude because it believes in regal rational authority, it does not believe in subjectivity and everything. It ensures rule of law, it ensures accountability through rules and regulation and through hierarchy. It believes in merit-based selection. So these are the aspects that are in alignment with democratic attitude. Understood? But those who have only this understanding or the negative understanding, they will find it difficult to generate both the part. And on the other side, democratic attitude may be in conflict with the bureaucratic attitude because of status quoism, red tapeism, corruption, my-baap culture, top-down and everything. So both the aspects you can highlight in this question. Understood or not? And also, democracy believes in consensus building. Collectively, democracy believes in consensus building, that consensus should be built and everything. On the other hand, bureaucrats believe in efficiency. I will give you a very beautiful example of conduction of the civil services examination by UPSC. You talk about this. Now, UPSC is very efficient in the conduction of this examination. There is no doubt about it. Every year you will see the paper. The annual calendar is there. UPSC follows the calendar. It is unlike other state PCS where the papers are getting postponed all over again and again. Yes, it is unlike that. Usually there is a pattern. Everything is there. So UPSC is maintaining efficiency because as a bureaucracy, it is prioritizing efficiency over democracy because it is not allowing you to see your answer script. It is not allowing you to see how they are evaluating your copies. It is not allowing you to see the scaling methodology that they are adopting. So basically, democracy and bureaucracy might be at loggerheads with each other, and bureaucracy in this case is prioritizing. And it is actually displaying all those answer key and everything after final result has been so it is of no use to the aspirant if you are submitting answer key after that. So that is a very great example that how bureaucracy prioritizes efficiency, that something has to be done very efficiently. On the other hand, it may go against democracy, which is more about adaptability, which is more about responsiveness, that you are responding to the needs of the people. Understood or not? बहुत अच्छी थीम हमने डिस्कस करी है अभी. दिस कैन बी द हैज बीन द पोटेंशियल क्वेश्चन और यहाँ पे आगे भी क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं. कैन यू प्लीज रिपीट दिस आंसर स्ट्रक्चर टू दिस क्वेश्चन? अरे भाई कैसे आप मेरे लिए डिफिकल्ट होगा. आप स्पेसिफिक पार्ट पूछ लो. एंटायर आंसर हाउ कैन आई रिपीट? यू आस्क मी एनी स्पेसिफिक डाउट. डन? अभिलाषा, इफ यू हैव एनी स्पेसिफिक डाउट आई विल आंसर दैट. But it's very difficult to repeat the entire answer because it's really difficult. Operant conditioning, I think I have discussed that, Vikas, in the context of value inculcation. Basically, your behavior, if you are behaving in a good fashion, that your parents would have rewarded you, and then you feel like this is something that is desirable, that is what you should do. But on the other hand, if you start stealing or you are indulging in certain activities that your parents are not approving of, then they will be punishing you for that. So consciously you will understand that something it is desirable, preferable than other thing, and that is how attitude and value will be shaped by that. That is operant conditioning. Bureaucratic attitude and democratic attitude. ठीक है? Bureaucratic attitude, question was that can these two attitudes be compatible with each other? So when we are talking about bureaucratic attitude, we are talking about what is bureaucracy. I think we have discussed that to some extent, that it is about that it should be rule driven, it should be having impersonality, emotion should not guide the decision making behavior, hierarchy should be there, accountability should be there, merit based selection should be there, nepotism should not be there. So these are the positive aspect of bureaucratic attitude, basically what bureaucracy collectively believes in. Understood? And there's something called a negative aspect of bureaucracy. Yes. So, because that also bureaucracy collectively believes in, like rules becoming the end in themselves, red tapeism, status quoism, closed system approach, So, when we are talking about bureaucratic attitude, it is not just the term is always negative or always positive. We should know both the side of bureaucratic attitude. Understood or not? And the question was, can democratic attitude align with the bureaucratic attitude? So, आप कहेंगे उस question के answer में that yes, to the context of positive aspect of bureaucratic attitude, it is in alignment. Because when you are having recruitment on the basis of merit, it is democratic only. Yes, when you are having rules and regulation with decision making, it is rational only. It is implementing rule of law only. That is the feature of rule of law, democracy. Yes, understood? So in this context, you will say their alignment, but in the context of the negative part, you will say they are not in alignment. Understood? And usually the essence of democracy is responsiveness to the people's need, people's concern. Essence of democracy is that you are listening to people's grievances, you are solving them. But the bureaucrat, as the Weber propounded bureaucrat was, the ruthless, efficiency should be the guiding concern. That once the laws and policies have been made, you have to implement them ruthlessly. That is what UPSC is also doing. It is ruthlessly implementing the efficiency. So one of the core value of bureaucracy is, please tell me if I am speaking fast again, the core value of bureaucracy is efficiency, that it wants to implement things very efficiently. And that I gave you the example of UPSC, that for so many decades it is conducting the examination with utmost efficiency. There's a calendar that is there, it is following the calendar, publishing everything on time, and that is not the same case with respect to your State Public Service Commission. Often 3-4 years are there in the context of examination only. So UPSC is prioritizing efficiency, and that is why it is not disclosing your answer key before publication of final result, because if it discloses that, there will be court orders, there will be so many things. It is not telling you your answer script. On the other hand, we have seen answer script in various state boards, they are uploading the answer script, evaluate answer script. It is not telling you that how scaling methodology actually works. Understood or not? So basically, it is concealing some information to promote efficiency. Now, is it understood, Abhilasha? स्क्रीन फ्रीज हो गई है कुछ बच्चों की, वो बोल रहे हैं कि फॉर्मेशन ऑफ एटीट्यूड कहाँ पे था? फॉर्मेशन ऑफ एटीट्यूड बहुत पहले था ना. किसने पूछा था ऑपरेंट कंडीशनिंग? ऑपरेंट कंडीशनिंग किसने पूछा था? विकास जी, आपने रिवाइज नहीं किया? ऑपरेंट कंडीशनिंग इज ए वेरी बेसिक, हमने काफ़ी बार डिस्कस किया, इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ. फैमिली किया था सर, तो फिर क्या डाउट है यार उसमें? लिख लीजिए. आई थिंक समवन वांटेड दिस स्क्रीनशॉट. You see in this class how democracy and bureaucratic efficiency is at loggerhead with each other. Yes? Responsiveness versus efficiency. Very good example. कहाँ पे थे हम? कहाँ पे थे? Which part? Political attitude. ये हो गया था ना सब? So next important thing is social influence. What is the definition of democratic attitude for bureaucracy? Divyaji, certain things I expect a student to know. Democracy is one of them. Democracy मैंने बोला कि it is about being responsive to the people's need. It is about that we are pursuing public interest. Government by the people, for the people. So administration should respond to people, just like I'm responding to you. That is a democratic attitude. If suppose I say कि I'm not looking at your comment, then you will comment that I'm not looking at your comment. So basically that will be undemocratic. Definition क्या होगी? Now you can make the definition. It is about being responsiveness. It is about pursuing public interest. आपसे सुन के कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है, इसलिए रिपीट करवाते हो. ओके, आगे चलें. सोशल इन्फ्लुएंस, क्योंकि ये टॉपिक है थोड़ा लंबा जाता है, तो बीच में एक जगह पे आएगी, यहाँ पे ले लेंगे ब्रेक. सो सोशल इन्फ्लुएंस. व्हाट इज सोशल इन्फ्लुएंस? व्हाट इज इन्फ्लुएंस? What is influence? All of you have heard the term influencers? Yes? So they are influencing us one way or other? Yes, many of the influencers are influencing you. So when we say we are influenced, it is about that our attitude, belief, behavior, it is changing. That is what influence is all about. When we are saying social influence, so basically because of social factor it is changing. Understood or not? So social influence is nothing but change in one's attitude, belief, behavior, everything, because of outside agent, because of societal factors. Understood or not? It may, or the influence, it may be intentional or unintentional. This pressure because of which we are changing our attitude, it may be real or imaginary. I will give you the example, For example, you talk about this Bollywood actor. Bollywood actor, कौन है वो जो बहुत अलग तरह कपड़े पहनता है? क्या नाम है उसका? रणवीर सिंह कपूर. Singh. Okay. So the Ranveer Singh, he wears a very different type of clothes, and Now, there might be someone who looks up to that person and he may be influenced by him. Now, Ranveer Singh may not know that, I have influenced someone. So that is what about social influence. This pressure may be real or imaginary. Now, Ranveer Singh is not coming to you and saying that you should also wear like me. It is simply you are getting influenced by him. So that is what social influence is all about. That you are changing your cognition, affective behavior, everything, because of some outside agent. That pressure may be real or imaginary, that that person may or may not know. We talk about Prime Minister Modi, he's a very charismatic leader when he speaks. So the way he speaks, he may influence various people, but he may not know actually whom he is influencing. He may not know individually any one of them, but those people are getting influenced. You talk about social media influencers. And this influence, it can be positive and it can be negative also. Understood or not? For example, you go to library. Yes, you go to library and you study there. Then automatically, your behavior is influenced. You feel like studying. That is what should happen actually. Okay, I don't know what happens to you, but usually this is what should happen. So usually your behavior, your attitude is influenced by the outside factor because you are in a library. Understood or not? Suppose you go to temple. When you go to temple, you get a different sort of vibes. The vibes that are different than perhaps going to a disco or going to a party or any club. So basically the environment that is there is influencing your attitude and behavior. So that is what social influence are all about. Social influencing is all about. Understood or not? Yes. Now, what are the different factors which actually affect social influence? What are the different factors? It may be because of information. When some people are saying, you talk about the AIIMS director when he was there during COVID, he would often come, and say so many things to influence our behavior. We believed in him because he was AIIMS director. We believed in him because he was having a lot of information. When IPCC reports comes out, and the report says that climate change is real and everything, what do we believe? We believe that it's real because IPCC is a well-researched report. And that is why we believe in climate change. So basically our behavior is influenced because of information, because we believe in the information capacity of someone. Understood or not? It may be because of situational influence. You go to library or temple, the example that I just gave you. That because of the conditions that are around there, you go to any jagrata, or any religious discourse that is happening, any Baba's satsang you go. Your attitude, your behavior will be very much different than what you will experience if you go to any club. So that is the influence of situation, because that is how it has affected you. Understood or not? Then normative influence means that wherever some prescriptions are there. Suppose if I have written maintain silence, it is written students are advised not to leave valuable items, something like that. Notice is there. So basically we are supposed to behave in a particular fashion. The norms are there. In this Vajirama and Ravi, when we are here, my behavior is also shaped by the organizational norms. Your behavior is also shaped by the organizational norms. So basically, that is how it is influencing us. Understood or not? On the other hand, you talk about different government school or private school you talk about, or different context of schools you talk about. In those different contexts of school, the norms may be different in the way they are perceived by the student. In some of the schools, students are simply not disciplined and they will not take anything seriously, whatever their teachers are speaking to them. So basically, they are not believing in the normative influence that much. Understood? Group size is a very important factor. If most of the people are following certain thing, that essentially we will also follow that thing. So that is how it will influence our behavior, group size. The more the group size, the chances are that we will also do the same only. Cohesiveness, not just the numbers, but also how much percentage. Suppose you have a group of 50 people, and out of those 50 people, 49 people have joined my course. Okay, suppose that is the case. Then you will also feel like joining the course because cohesiveness is very high. That most of the people have joined the course only, then I should also join the course. If suppose this number is very large, then also you will feel like that I should join the course. because of the group size that was there. So cohesiveness of the group is very important, group size, and that is how it is influenced. That is how it is influenced. But is it the case, are our behavior or attitude always influenced by others? Is it so simple? Well, suppose you go to college, the college you see that everyone, no, if suppose that is the case, of course, you should not question me, sir, mere college mein to aisa nahi tha, but usually if that is the case, you imagine a scenario that all your seniors are drinking and partying all the time only. Smoking is happening all the time only. So when you go there, you see that it is very common for people to smoke and drink. So normally, it may have influence on you also, that so many people are doing it, I should also do it. Yes, in your friend circle, if most of the people are drinkers only, chances are that you will also drink. Understood or not? So that is about cohesiveness of the group and group size of the group. Understood or not? So basically, our behavior attitude, it is shaped by outside influence. But is it always the case? It is not always the case, because importance of the object also matter. You talk about, many of the girls are sitting here, now they are into this marriageable age. So many of their friends, she's like, sir, abhi kahan, sir, abhi to 12वीं hui hai meri. Okay. So basically all I'm saying is that, many of the girls aspirant who are here, many of their colleagues, might have got married. It might be the case that, they might have got married, but they are not getting married. So even though their group is behaving that they are getting married in this age, they are still not doing the same thing because of the importance of the object. Because marriage is a very important decision, and that is why you are not influenced by your peer group. Even though all other people in your peer group is getting married, you are not getting married because you have prioritized your career right now. Understood or not? So you always are not influenced by the societal factors. Then individual character also matter a lot. Individual character. You talk about Gandhiji, when Gandhiji went to England, his mother took some vows from him that you will not eat meat, you will not drink and everything. So, and he abided by, that is what he said, that he went there, he tried to abide by those vows. So individual character also matter a lot. You talk about in work culture, talk about Ashok Khemka. Even though the influence is that sab chalta hai, corruption is the norm and everything, still some people are standing their ground. You talk about T.N. Session, you talk about Ishi Dharan. So they were not influenced by the prevailing work culture. Instead, they created their own way. Understood or not? So that is what individual character also matter a lot. And of course, power equation. Power equation is a very important factor. It also matters a lot in terms of social influence. If someone from very high position or the power difference, if it is very high, then the person who is in the power, he has lot of ability to influence people. Talk about Prime Minister of this country, he is the Prime Minister of this country. If he says कि सबको आके थाली बजानी है बालकनी में, तो बजाते हैं लोग आके थाली. That is the power he is enjoying because of the power equation that is there. He is having that much of influence. Yes, so power equation always matters a lot. Understood or not? Understood or not? So that is what social influence is all about. After that, we will discuss the most important part of the topic, that is techniques of persuasion, and that we will discuss in the next class. Yes, gaming addiction, smoking addiction, all these are examples of social influence only. People are drinking, all these betting apps that are there, betting apps. It is example of social influence only. Difference between group size and cohesiveness. Difference is, suppose many number of people are following the same thing, then it is about group size. And in that group, let's say you go to your college, and you see 1,000 students are there. And in those 1,000 students, you see 400 or 500 students are drinking all the time. So basically that is our group size. Okay, majority of the people are drinking only, I should also drink. That is the group size. Cohesiveness basically means that in that group size, what is the common attitude, Or let's say the 500 people are having some sort of intoxication. Let us say that, I will give you a better example, that 600 people are into some form of intoxication. You know, some are smoking, some are drinking. And out of these 600 people, 500 people are drinking only 100 people are smoking. And chances are you will be drinking only rather than smoking. That is what cohesiveness means. Understood? Gokul, understood? Okay, then I think it may be positive and negative. I think that thing is very much done. Okay, so we will have our class on 30th, 10:30 to 12:30. Okay, done. Bye bye. Any doubt? Tomorrow to class hai na. Tomorrow no doubt is there. Unless I fall ill, that is different thing. Any other doubt online walo? Next class date after Diwali? Monday. Monday we will have the class. 4th. 31st, 1 to 3 we will not have the class, 4 days. 30th we will have a class, tomorrow we will have the class, and Monday we will resume the classes. Don't worry, it will have only 2 days of impact only. Okay then, bye bye.